Today's conversation is a touchy topic that a lot of men deal with. I just wanted to hit on what my investigations are on the topic, so stay tuned. Peace and love, YouTube. Okay, so before I begin, I want to say, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We have a goal that we're trying to reach that is 2,000 subscribers by the middle of October. With that being said, I'm going to give a special shout out to 2 new members of my YouTube page, Dominique Harris and B Ball. Much love and thanks for joining my membership. All right, so I wanted to discuss a post that I had seen on Instagram. I follow this child support hustle page on Instagram, but let's look at what I had seen. All right, so here we are. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Zoom in. So this is off the child support hustle. Go and visit them on Instagram. And it says, this is amazing. And I was hyped listening to this or reading this. It's like my ex is about to be on his way to pick up his son. I'm like, whoa, come on. I like to see women happy about that. But joke's on him, because as soon as he pulls in, I'm calling the police and saying he hit me. Easiest way to win full custody, ladies. And I'm like, yeah. And the bad thing is, I've seen it before. I got family members that this has happened to. And there's people in the comments that said that this happened to them too. So, and the worst thing about this is it often happens when the women are mad because the man no longer wants them, but still wants to be in the child's life. So let's try to investigate what's going on here. It says, this is amazing. My ex is about to be on his way to see his son, but joke's on him, because as soon as he pulls in, I'm calling the police and saying he hit me. Now you can already see that this is premeditated. You can tell that her motives are nefarious. She's intending to lie in order to get somebody else in trouble. So what would I do? And granted, I am not a lawyer. I am not giving legal advice. I'm not even giving my legal opinions. I'm just giving my investigation or my research that I've gone through. And my research is very minute and it is small. So it shouldn't hurt for anybody to listen to it. If anything that I say, guys, make sure that you go back and look up your state's laws, which are freely available on any of your state websites. But this is just my observation. So she's trying to push for a false report. Let me go ahead and pull that up. All right. So this is for North Carolina. And I'm getting this off Justia US Law. All right, 205 North Carolina Code, General Statutes, Section 14-225, false reports to law enforcement agencies or officers. All right, any person who shall willfully make or cause to be made to a law enforcement agency or officer any false, misleading, or unfounded report for the purpose of interfering with the operation of a law enforcement agency, or hinder or obstruct any law enforcement officer in the performance of his duty shall be guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. So I would start off with seeing, okay, hey, does this apply to my situation? Because she is trying to come after me off some bull crap. Look at what she's saying. Silly people always leave evidence around, scattered everywhere. But joke's on him, because as soon as he pulls in, I'm calling the police and saying he hit me. It's the easiest way to win full custody, ladies. This is some backwoods drama, some ghetto hood rat type mess. But I digress. Next, I would start pursuing or considering she's lying on me and making me look like I'm some type of bad man. So what would that be considered to me? I would say that's defamation. She's trying to slay my character. If I'm a good man trying to be there in my child's life and this woman is doing this, best believe that I'm coming after her in civil court for defamation. Now, let's see if we have anything on defamation for North Carolina. First, let's find out what defamation is. All right, what is defamation? North Carolina's definition of defamation, also known as defamation of character, is an overreaching and all-encompassing legal term for the written or spoken publication of a false assertion of fact to a third party, which ultimately causes harm or injury to the reputation of another party. Defamation is recognized as a civil wrong in common law jurisdictions. Think Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, aka a tort, and is thus accompanied with a plea and request for damages. Defamation may also be commonly referred to as a tort of defamation. I would suggest going back and reading the rest of it if you desire, but there's two different types of defamation, at least that we're going to be speaking about here. There could be other types. I'm not going to go into it, but we have libel and slander. Slander is the written or published, whether it be videos, text, photographs, or other media, false assertion of fact to a third party or entity, which ultimately causes harm or injury to another person, while slander is the spoken communication of a false assertion of fact to a third party or entity, which ultimately causes harm or injury to a person's reputation. Now, news agencies, this may not necessarily apply to them, depending on if the information is true. Now, once again, I'm not a lawyer. I would say go look up the definitions for yourself. Go check your laws in your state, county, or whatever you're in, your city, your town, your municipal. So in this case, she's slandering him, and the proof is written. And supposedly, if this is a real post, it's being posted on Facebook. How can somebody even post such evidence? It's like how I recently saw a woman who shot her boyfriend because he wanted to leave her, and she posted it on, I think, Instagram, saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, I just shot him, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, really? Is this how it really truly is? People just telling themselves like this? But I digress. Let's continue. Now, when I think of the reason why I started to consider defamation is I'm like, she's lying on this man, but how can these lies hurt him? How can it affect him? So I started to go down a list of things of how this could possibly affect this man. She called the police. As soon as he gets there, he could possibly go straight to jail. Often enough, when a woman says that a man hit them, the officer doesn't necessarily investigate. He detains the man, and then more than likely he'll get arrested and he'll get off. He'll probably get out that day or the next day, but still he got arrested and possibly going to be charged with that. I want to put out there, guys, please understand to look up the definition of charge and look up the definition of convicted, because they're two different things. But a man would often get charged with domestic violence or anything of that nature if a woman says it. Even like with rape, if a woman says he raped me, they're gonna investigate deeply. Possibly you're gonna be detained or arrested. The next one, it could result in a man getting injured. Now, it can be a woman as well, but in this situation, it could result in this man right here getting injured. Because if a woman says he just came and started hitting me, they're going to think, okay, they have to be on guard, on defense. They have, when they get there, they have a guy who is aggressive. So if he's aggressive, they have to use a certain level of force. They're coming there assuming that he's combative. The next one, things like that definitely messes up your record. It gets on your record, whether you're convicted or not. If you're charged, that stuff gets on your record and it often sticks. I have family who has things like that that stuck on them simply because of exes doing silly things. And lastly, not being able to find jobs. And I think that's in connection with the record, but it's hard to find a job if they look on your record and you've been charged with domestic violence. I don't even think that you can join like any military or law enforcement agency with domestic violence on your record. I think that would have to be expunged or covered up. Then I started to consider, I would sue her for damages mentally and financially, along with the domestic violence or not being able to find a job for whatever amount of time, or being off my job for whatever amount of time, or having to actually go and find a lawyer. I would push for her to have to pay for that. I would push for me having, to research. I would be pushing for her to pay for all of these different issues that she caused me. Now, what type of mental things could I consider? I'm like, abuse. But what type of abuse? You know what? I'll get to that. And I just wanted to point out that it seems like this dude is a good dude. And the way that this post is it paints the woman as a bad woman. But I mean, I don't know what their issue is, but she seems like she's playing games with him. So it's going to paint a picture of her, whether she's been good all this time or not. But what type of woman would stop a man from going to see his child and being vindictive or spiteful for whatever reason? I can't figure it out, but let's continue. So yeah, I would sue her for mental, emotional, and financial abuse. Not only for me, but for my child. If I'm coming there to pick up my child, apparently I'm going to see them. They're going to see me. I'm going to be happy to see them. And they're going to be happy to see me. But if the police show up saying that I hit my child when I didn't, or I hit my ex when I didn't, how's my child going to look at me when I'm being taken away, when I'm supposed to be coming to see them? The police come and take me away. So I would sue her for mental and emotional abuse on me and my children. Because looking at the way she's doing it, it can't be anything new, and it's obvious mental abuse. And one thing that I know with issues like this is men don't report it. Men often don't report anything. Men don't go to the hospital when they're supposed to, whenever they need to get checkups. Men don't report if they've ever been raped or molested. I mean, it's not that they don't ever, but it's not in the droves that they actually go out there and do that. Men don't report domestic violence. Men don't report abuse in the droves. They don't just, hey man, let's link arms and let's go march. No, that's not men. But I digress. Let's go to the nccourts.gov. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna bring this up. So we're going to see what is abuse here. Make sure that you can see it. What is abuse? A child is considered abused if his or her parent, guardian, custodian, or caretaker does any of the following. 1. Causes serious physical injury to the child that does not happen by accident or allows another to do so. 2. Creates a substantial risk of serious physical injury to the child, other than by accident or allows another to. 3. Uses cruel or grossly inappropriate discipline on the child or allows another to do so. 4. Commits certain sex crimes against the child or permits or encourages the child to commit sex crimes or participate in sex crimes. 5. Causes serious emotional damage to the child or allows another to do so. And guys, that one right there was the one that I wanted to focus on. I believe that this, well, at least I'm led to believe that this situation would cause this type of emotional distress, because any man would be like, what? No. And he's going to fight against the idea that he hit this woman in front of his child, because she is now painting a picture for her child to see. And the police are going to fight against him because they already consider him to be combative. So they're not going to take him. No, I ain't do nothing. I ain't do all the, ask this person, ask that. They're not going to be listening to that, at least until he gets into the car. And he may be too disgruntled at that point to really take any real opinions from anybody, especially the police that's coming there to arrest him in front of his child. So causes serious emotional damage to the child or allows another to do so. I don't even have to do the last two because it's not relevant to, or at least I believe it's not relevant to this discussion. So the next point that I wanted to make is parental alienation. This possible loving father, doesn't he deserve to be in his child's life if he's able to or if he wants to be? Why would you try to keep him away just because of your selfish desires? I went on to ObermeyerFamilyMatters.com because I decided I wanted to see if I could find anything on parental alienation, but in North Carolina, I couldn't find much. And I definitely suggest guys, go and look this up. I mean, go to this page and look it up if you want. Can I sue my former spouse for destroying my relationship with my children? Go and read all of this because it's important information. So I suggest going to that to this page. Obermeyer. All right, so New Jersey Appellate Court in Singal v. Lynch 413 NJ Super 171 App Div 210 addressed whether or not a parent could seek civil redress against the other parent for emotional damages relating to custody and parenting time cases. In Segal, a mother had made numerous alienating statements to the parent's children, which resulted in the loss of the relationship between the father and his two children. The father brought a civil tort suit against the mother, alleging that the mother committed intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lower court dismissed the action. A New Jersey appellate court reviewed the decision of the lower court. The appellate court held that parents should not be permitted to routinely bring civil suits against each other for alienation of the affections of their children. The court stated that routine claims of intentional infliction of emotional distress arising out of one parent's alienation of the affections of the children were against public policy. The court explained that these claims would almost always require the children to act as witnesses against one or both their parents, and it would not be the best interest of the children for these cases to proceed. However, interestingly, The appellate court left the door open for one parent to file a civil action against the other parent in extreme cases. The appellate court in Segal specifically noted that civil redress would be appropriate when one parent falsely and intentionally accuses the other parent of sexually abusing the child. The appellate court explained that a false accusation that a parent has sexually abused or her own child is despicable and so destructive in its actions on an innocent parent that it cries out for compensation, which is not available in the family part or even in the criminal courts. Another court in an unpublished decision in Monmouth County, New Jersey, held that a grandparent who colluded with the parent to withhold a child in another country and advised the child that his parent had abandoned him could also potentially be liable in a civil claim. So guys, I would definitely read the rest of this and go into it and verify whether or not this could apply to you, especially if you're being alienated. Now, granted, I couldn't find much in the appellate courts as far as alienation goes, but if you decided to fight against it and to take it to appellate court, hopefully, prayerfully, possibly, you could be the first one to get a case, or maybe a few of you independently could create cases within North Carolina or within whatever state. I would say look up your state and find out what the laws are in reference to alienation. One thing I know is that men often do not fight for the right things, especially when it comes to court or law, or they'll give up too fast. So what I'm saying is don't give up too fast. But I wanted to also respond to the comments that was on this post. All right, so we have Thieu Bier. Hopefully I'm sure I'm possibly slaughtering your name. He said, like I said before, the system will believe a woman's story every time, no matter if she is lying about the situation. I should know. I've been going through it for 20 years now with not one person helping me. I sort of responded to him. I wanted to talk to the guy. But yes, they will believe their story. But too often, we don't come at the situation in the proper way. A man, whenever he gets lied on, he'll become belligerent. Because men don't like to be lied on, especially to other people, especially with someone who you believe that you once trusted. A man would be like, oh, nah, I can't believe that she would do this. And now they're getting belligerent within the courtroom, which is a no-go, which doesn't paint a good picture for the man. But let's continue. Or I digress. Audio Flexin says that should be insta prison. Yes, I think what in situations like this, I think it should be whenever a woman does something like this, I think that whatever she intended should fall on her, like the Bible says. If a man digs a hole for another man to fall in, it should be him that's thrown in that hole. All right, Mr. Greatness 85 says, yep, happened to me. Let me see if he has anything else. Hold on, let's go over here to it. Yep, happened to me. Horrible. This is the person that I guess runs Child Support Hustle. Once again, go check them out. Okay, yeah, but let's continue. It seems like a lot of men are dealing with the same thing. Has actually, and I'm figuring that this is possibly fictitious, but a lot of men are saying, hey, this has happened to me. All right, Outlaw 003 says this is what the system allowed these women to do. So they do it and get away with it. I agree and I disagree, only because The only reason why I agree and disagree is because, yeah, the system does allow it, but the system also allows remedy to everyone. There is no way to get away from remedy. Like, I mean, well, there is no law that's set out there where there is no remedy for it. For instance, a woman does something like this. I already said how I would respond. I'm not going to be belligerent. Police want to take me in. Okay, I'm going to express my rights as a man, and I'm going to do what I do and sue the police and sue her. And granted, the police may not know, in which I'm going to explain it to them. Don't do it. Just don't do it. She's lying. And you guys need to investigate, because she's trying to get you guys sued. And I will sue you. Go talk to your supervisor. Go speak to your legal counsel, because she's going to get you sued. It didn't happen. So yes, although it allows women, it also allows men to defend themselves. But men often will give up. They either will give up or think, I'm just too stupid to do anything. That's how it's often gone. Men, they get a lawyer. The lawyer tell them, and I'm not even going to badmouth lawyers or attorneys or whatever you want to call them, but this man goes and get an attorney. The attorney says, hey, there's nothing we could do, and they don't go searching for themselves. Hey, if you think there is nothing that you can do except for just sit there and take it, I don't know. Get used to the jail time loving. Just take it. All right. The Road 77 says, gentlemen, always have a camera turned on. Have it upload to the web so that it can be deleted off. So it can't be deleted off your phone. Yes, I agree. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it every time, because if me and my wife have an argument or something, I'll be wanting to record it, but it's spur of the moment. And often, if you have an ex, they'll be cool with you, and spur of the moment, boom, all hell breaks loose. So unless you're going to, unless for the whole time that you're around them, yeah, it's going to waste your battery for your phone, and you're possibly not going to catch them anyway. And they'll wait until, and it's almost like their spirit tells them, hey, wait until his phone dies. But let's continue. All right, Moneybags Blake. I wanted to go to Moneybags Blake because he was like, it happened to me. And this is something that's common with men. And it's idiotic to me. How do you post something like this about yourself? And often people will say, I don't have no money. I'm broke. And then they go posting stuff like this. The ex goes and take you to child support court and say, hey, he got money. He got a new job. He got a side job. And look, this is the money he be making. He already said on all his stuff, I'm always making bank. I'm always making money. And then she got evidence. Why create evidence? Why are you using social media so much that you're incriminating yourself? You have the right to remain silent, so use that. Use your head. Why does everybody have to know about what you got? Come on, man. And you don't have any happen to me. Yes, I can see why. Come on, we got to be more careful. As men, we got to watch our own backs. And I see all this red pill stuff, and it doesn't really even matter how much of a bold man you are, how much of a successful man you are, because as soon as you're a not so wise man with the woman that you're with and not protecting your assets, child support is coming for you. The system is going to use that woman against you, and they're going to bleed you for everything. All right, so we see here in Sublime, literally just got home from support court under oath. She lied about her address, employment, and side business. My own lawyer wouldn't address it in court and sent me to the prosecutor's office. Prosecutor said he should have addressed it at the time in court. I'm terrified. She's put my kids in danger, but the court's only concern is child support and not the kids' welfare. Okay, Mr. Sublime, and none of this is legal advice. I'm just saying from my investigation, from what you were saying, you allowed her to lie on a stand. If your attorney, if your so-called attorney was supposed to be representing you and you didn't tell him to do it, and if he didn't do it, you should have fired him. But due to fear, you more than likely didn't. Your butthole clenched and you just got scared, and that's okay. But if you know that she lied and you have evidence that she lied, why not take her to court? Independent from child support court. Think about what it is called. It's called child support court. Do you go to child support court for CPS issues? Do you go to child support court for divorce issues? No. It's not the right jurisdiction. It's family court overall, but it's not the right jurisdiction. It's like I can for some issues, but I can't come to criminal. I can't be brought to the criminal court for all civil issues. It's not the way it goes. So you take her to the proper jurisdiction. Find out what that is. Look in your area. All right, let's see. What's that? Big Cat Trucker? I thought that was Butt Crap Rucker. Wow, shake my head. What is going on out here with these type of women? I don't think that's the right question. I think it's relevant, but I don't think it's the right question, because if a man didn't put his seed in that, she wouldn't have that type of power. That's why it's very important that we vet the women that we're going to be getting together with. And I would say if they're adamant about not signing a prenup, I would make sure that all my assets are going into a trust, and therefore I wouldn't be the one that's handling my assets. My trust would be. And therefore, if she ever had a desire, and that's one thing I don't understand with the rich people, is why isn't all their assets going into a trust? So if you just marry somebody and you divorce her after 1 year, she's not getting everything. The F is wrong with these trash bag excuses for women. The F is wrong with these dumb trash bag dudes. You can't be pumping your seed into these women and expecting gold. You already seen that they was running around with all of these dudes and was trouble, but you found it sexy. You called her your little crazy baby, and that was okay with you. No. We already understand women in these days are trash. Not all of them. I do want to say that. And